Y'all, when it has been a week or a day and you just want to press the easiest possible button for dinner, a sheet pan dinner is going to be the key for you. This is one of my favorite dinner time hacks. I'm going to show you how to make a sausage and potato sheet pan dinner with cabbage, a chorizo breakfast sheet pan, which is obviously you could have for dinner, but I also like to lean on this one for breakfast time, and then a curried chicken sheet pan dinner. Let's whip them up. It's going to take no time at all. Alrighty, let's jump into the very first sheet pan dinner we're going to make. This is a sausage, potato, and cabbage sheet pan dinner. This is maybe one of my most repeated sheet pan dinners in my own house. The way that a sheet pan dinner works is you just get a trusty, reliable sheet pan, and then we're gonna put everything on it. We're gonna put the protein, the vegetable, the starch, some seasoning, and it's all gonna cook together on this sheet pan in the oven at the same time, and then dinner is done. And it is minimal cleanup. My family loves this meal too. In this sausage and potato sheet pan dinner, we have sausages. So there's bratwurst is my preferred kind, but use whatever you've got. I've made it with venison sausage, all kinds of other fun options. Have fun with it. If you're going for a little Irish theme, which is where this one was inspired from, that's the one I usually grab. Red skinned potatoes, which we're gonna cut a little bit so that they get nice and soft in the oven and even a little bit crispy on the outside. And then cabbage. I've got two kinds of cabbage here because if you want to double the recipe, for example, and make 2 sheet pans worth, if you're feeding more people or if you want to have, gosh, just leftovers, then you would use both of these cabbages. And then lastly, we have for seasoning some dried dill, some garlic powder. We're going to use olive oil, salt, pepper, and then if you feel like it, some fresh parsley to garnish on at the very end. Alrighty, so we've got all of our cabbage and our potatoes on the sheet pan. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna drizzle the vegetable part with this olive oil, a generous amount of it. And I'm not so worried about placement yet because I'm just gonna toss it together to make sure all the sides are coated with that olive oil. A sheet pan dinner works. It's not gonna dry out if you coat everything really evenly in whatever your cooking fat is. That makes that it's so that all the sides of the cabbage will roast and crisp and be really even. Have you ever had something that came out of the oven and part of it was dry and part of it was delicious? The dry part was probably just didn't get a good coating of fat. So this is a good way to avoid that. Okay, everything's coated really nicely, and you'll notice I kind of arranged things so that they're slightly spread out. I really don't want the cabbages to be right next to each other. Okay, another trick, sheet pan dinners. Everything's gonna be really close and personal and cozy, and that's what part of what makes them delicious. But you wanna make sure that things aren't too close to one another because the crowding, they'll steam each other and they won't cook as evenly. So for example, all these little cabbage wedges, I'm kind of turning so that they aren't right up next to each other. Now that those are on there, I'm going to season with our salt and pepper. The bratwurst, our sausages, don't really need much seasoning because they're flavored already on the inside. And then usually the way I serve this is I dip them all in some Dijon mustard after the end. Some dill powder. I learned this in a restaurant. It makes a big old mess, but the higher up with what you apply your seasonings, the more even your seasoning will be. Garlic powder. Now we're gonna go ahead and wedge in our bratwursts, again, evenly, not having them touch one another. I created little bitty openings for them here and there. It's okay if they touch nose to nose, but not side to side. And it's also okay if they kind of sit on top of some of the potatoes, because actually, as they cook, they will release their own yummy fats, which will help make everything extra tasty. And here we have it. This is ready for the oven. Sheet pan dinner, numero duo, is actually a sheet pan breakfast, but still a sheet pan meal. So what we're going to make, the featured ingredients are chorizo. So chorizo is a heavily seasoned ground pork, and it's very common to find, at least where I am, in my neck of the woods here in South Texas, South Central Texas. But if you cannot find chorizo, you can actually just get ground pork and season it with all the spices, give it a quick Google. We can provide some links below. It's really easy to make. You could also just do this with ground pork. You could also do this with breakfast sausage because it's a breakfast sheet pan dinner, breakfast inspired. So what we've got here, we have the chorizo, we have red bell peppers, and some russet potatoes. And I'm gonna cut everything up. Instead of The prior sheet pan dinner, we cut everything into larger chunks because when I sit down for dinner, I like cutting into things with a fork and a knife, and that makes more sense. But for breakfast, I don't know if it's just because the season of life I'm in, we're on the go a lot. I need things to be bite-sized pieces because I need to be able to eat it with one hand while I have at least one child, sometimes two, strapped to me somehow. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut these potatoes up into bite-sized pieces. Again, I'm not peeling it. Sorry, not sorry. Cut these into about 1/2 inch or so, I think is the way the recipe reads, pieces. And then just start piling them onto this sheet pan. And then they're all gonna roast together at the same time, once again. We're gonna cover them with olive oil, salt and pepper. And then when this one comes out, we get to garnish with really fun things. We've got some fresh cilantro, some limes, some avocado, and some fresh jalapeno. Optional, choose your own toppings, but those are the ones I really like. This is also a really great dish to meal prep for breakfast. This is a really great saver for me. If I have time on a Sunday or on the weekend to get a little meal prep in, popping these ingredients on the sheet pan into the oven and having it ready to go for me during the week, I can just spoon off as much as I want into a bowl. I pop mine into the microwave, and then I'm ready to go. Peppers and potatoes are on our sheet pan. I'm going to drizzle with olive oil. Good old drizzling of it. I'm sure it's a 2-ish tablespoon situation. And then I'm just going to use my hands again to toss everything, get a really good even coat of olive oil on every little piece. And now I'm just going to spread it out on this rimmed, it's actually a rimmed baking dish. It's actually called a jelly roll pan, but I refuse. I'm calling it a rimmed baking dish at best. I'm just gonna spread it out in as even of a layer as possible. And then our chorizo, we're gonna put in like little bitty meatball type things, sprinkle them on top. Get a nice sprinkling of sea salt and then some cracked pepper. Alrighty, so the way that I'm going to take this chorizo and put it onto the sheet pan is I'm just gonna use a spoon and just spoon a little bit at a time. No need to roll it, no need to do anything fancy. I'm just getting little pieces and I'm just gonna sprinkle these right on top. And as this chorizo cooks in the oven, it'll also release really delicious, well-seasoned oil and fat onto the ingredients below, which is gonna flavor everything up really nicely. It's gonna be so yummy. Alrighty, so the last sheet pan dinner we're gonna make is one of my favorites. It is this curry chicken sheet pan dinner, and the flavors in this one are very good. And what I usually do with this one, and we can serve this up as is, the 2 main ingredients are just chicken thighs and carrots. And you can call it, that can be dinner. You can call it there, or you can, sometimes I'll cook some white rice to have on the side, something like that for the kids to really get a good punch of starch. This sheet pan dinner comes together in 2 phases. So this is a really great way to show you that sometimes sheet pan dinners, you can do them all, bake it all at once, just like the other 2 that we have in the oven right now. And this one we're gonna bake in phases because the carrots are gonna take a little bit longer to cook than the chicken. And so we're gonna season the carrots, pot them on the sheet pan, and then let them pre-bake for about 10 minutes. And then while they're baking, we're gonna prepare the marinade for the chicken, the really yummy curried coconut marinade. Get that ready, and then by the time the carrots are done, we'll put the chicken on, stick it all back in the oven for the final bake. All right, so the way that I like to cut these carrots is I have this cute little carrot already peeled, and I am just going to insert my knife and then slice through it long ways, hot dog style. So we get 2 little halves just like that. To our carrots, what we're gonna season these with before they go into the oven, ghee. I'm actually gonna use olive oil right now, so a little bit of oil. And then toss them up, and we're going to add the juice of a lime. Big, big flavor in this dish. That is a really juicy lime. I think that's actually going to be plenty for this stage. Give it another really quick toss, spread them out so they're nice and even. And then I'm going to sprinkle on top our salt, pepper, and ground cumin, and then into the oven at 375 degrees for 10 minutes. Okay, so while those carrots are pre-baking, let's go ahead and start on the chicken part. What I've got is we're gonna make this chicken marinade sauce. It's gonna have coconut milk in it. And you'll see that when you open a can of full fat coconut milk, the solids, the fat solids kind of rise to the top. And this happens pretty naturally in the refrigerator. This is kind of soft, which is perfect. If you have a hard time getting your coconut milk solids to separate from the water beneath it, you can stick them in the fridge for a little bit and they'll harden up. So what I've got is a slotted spoon, means a spoon with holes in it, and I've stuck it in and I'm just gonna pull this out, and the water stays behind in the bottom part of the can. We don't need that extra liquid in this dish. Okay, and then next up we're gonna add 1.5 limes, juices of 1.5 limes, right on into this bowl. Some curry powder, some garlic powder, some sea salt, and then we're gonna whisk this up until it's pretty evenly combined. It's gonna be thick, very thick sauce, and then our chicken gets plunked right on in there. Get it tossed around, and then when we're ready to put it on the sheet pan, we wedge it right on the sheet pan, and it goes back into finished baking at 375 for 30 more minutes. Our 3 sheet pan meals are out of the oven, and they look and smell so good. I'm excited because we get to have all these at once, but you definitely pick your favorite. These are so good. Make them, let us know what you love, and for more easy dinner recipes, on your screen right now are 5 Instant Pot dinner recipes that are another no-brainer easy win.